That's awesome.
Hey.
Hey, I didn't know you were going cosplay. I missed the show.
It's as close as you see me putting on Svengoolie makeup.
Man,
That was great.
There's Svenny,
that
which
was
we'll
good.
talk about later.
Oh,
I guess we'll again do a couple of full, or we'll attempt to do a couple of full circle things. We'll
There
start
we go.
with Svenny and end with Svenny. Welcome everyone again to the Chris Conley, Mr. C Dives In channel. Here we are again in 2023, looking at the second annual recognition between the Fanboy Cantina channel and this channel, throwing out a tribute to Rich Koz, formerly son of Svengoolie, currently the long-standing Svengoolie. And so again, who better to be able to not just contribute, but to give what only he can give for this conversation, for this topic. Here is Dave, aka Terror Dave.
That's right. At times like this, what one needs is an experienced stalker like myself to break down what Svengoolie's really like. At least
Who
out
are you
in
gonna
public.
call?
All right.
Call Dave.
Dave.
Yes, call Dave. Except when it's time to hand me the restraining order, of course.
It's awesome.
In the words of Triumph, who has the cigar
Right.
Yes.
somewhat similar to Tombstone cigar in the old days. I keyed. Let me just trade your spot and my spot here. That didn't go.
Oh my
There
goodness.
we go. Okay, so now I'll as
no.
we go to the photos, I'll cover it myself versus my co-host and my guest. So now okay, here we go. Today we're going to start with featuring on the coffin, the new coffin. Dave, what can you tell us?
So this is the actual coffin that you see on the Svengoolie set today. This is the earlier stages of its development, and of course was created at Acme Design in Elgin, Illinois, designed by Ryan Gunther, who you'll see a little bit later. But yeah, I got to go over there, and they invited me over to see how the coffin was coming along. And as you can see at this point, they haven't, it's unpainted, and they're just working out the moving mouth part for Buddy, what would later become Buddy Sorrell on the show.
So at this exact, either of these pics here and then the close-up toward the mouth, is the mouth the same physical material as the rest, or because it's a different color there, does that indicate it's a different material?
No, I think that they just got farther along with the main coffin. I mean, I don't know for sure. I'm just guessing. I don't know if they're made the same. My guess is that they just kind of added the mouth to it as the last part they were working out the kinks. So it's probably made from the same material, just hasn't been painted over yet.
In progress, in development.
Yeah, probably. Again, I don't know that for sure. But it was kind of neat. It was neat going over to. It's always neat going to Acme Design. It's a really fantastic place. It looks like a little box in the middle of Elgin. It's this completely, obscure building. You never would know that it was inside of so many amazing things. They had one of Captain America's shields they created is there from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They have one of Giger's molds for Alien 1979 is in there. It's a really amazing place to go. Yeah. And they're great people. Couldn't find nicer people.
Wow.
And obviously very talented. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, and Mr. C, to call the audible, you can switch me to the middle square so folks can see you if you like.
All right, man. We'll do many configurations as we go. But
or you could pretend to be Buddy Sorrell talking.
I know Tombstone's voice better than
Rob.
Buddy's, and then the analytics would show the immediate drop off. There's 10 minutes doing voices and impressions. So,
okay.
Okay, or at least a possibility of that.
Yeah, well, these days with YouTube, yeah, that's very possible.
True. Okay, gee. So again, next time you're back in town, to put on our list of museum-like or virtual field trips or outings. So now we got a double Svengoolie feature, if you will, the Brewed Coffee House that was featured in the Sven documentary Uncrypted, and that's a far stretch from Elgin. Maybe we've got to pick one or the other, but between the Captain America shield and as Dave's telling us, it's a good spot to check.
So is it actually a place that you can visit, or is it?
No, you kind of have to know somebody.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you're gonna crash
Yeah.
my friend's pad. Yeah, no, you can if they tell they're nice people. I'm sure they would let you come if you call them next. But I do have to kind of get
Wow,
there
that's really
ahead of
amazing.
time. Yeah, I don't know. Are either of you two are Doctor Who fans? Are you or no? No.
Not,
They
not
have a
especially.
they have an actual Doctor Who cafe in Elgin, not far away. It's pretty cool. It's a cool city. It really is. It's got a lot of great stuff.
The here, let me show up for a little bit.
There
So the
you go.
wife and I have been watching some of the newer Doctor Who's, but going back to this era when it was the
Right.
Sunday night on Channel 11 in Chicago, the WTTW, the PBS affiliate. Yeah, I guess I started with the fourth Doctor, and I know there's the pic somewhere, and I hope I loaded it correctly of Sven and the fifth Doctor, and from studying up a bit, then John Pertwee, the third Doctor, I think we mentioned that last time directly, had been a guest on Son of Svengoolie,
Right. Yeah.
and so yeah, I'm good with the doc. But you're saying there's Doctor Who stuff in
There's like a whole cafe
Oh,
that's
that's
called
cool.
the Blue Box Cafe, and it's just completely dedicated to Doctor Who. It's pretty
That's
cool.
kind of perfect.
Yeah, it's neat.
excellent. Okay, so here we go. Let's see next, further along in the development.
So, it's okay. I'm wearing a hat, just so you know, because we're at Brookfield Zoo in this picture, and I am participating in a fundraiser called Vital Grounds, which raises money for bears and wildlife in the West. And they usually Svengoolie comes to this event, but he wasn't able to come that year, so he gave permission for this. Now, what you're looking at here is the prototype coffin.
Mm.
So this was the lid made before they started work on the actual coffin. This is the one that was unveiled to the public at Nightmare on Chicago Street in October of 2012. So what you're looking at here, this was taken in March of 2012 and was brought to the zoo where people could come and get a picture in front of it if they wanted to. And so who you're seeing here are the some of the creative folks from Acme Design. You have Elizabeth Haney. She's the one that's right in front of me. She also used to work at Horribles back in the day. She's a very nice, just an amazing woman. And the other man directly with his shoulder against the coffin, that's Clint Barucki. He's the actual owner of Acme Design.
Wow.
He's a great guy. And then the gentleman wearing the brown sweatshirt with the sunglasses in his shirt, that's Ryan Gunther. He's the actual designer of Svengoolie's new coffin and set. Man. So it was really nice of them to come and actually bring that coffin over for people to take pictures of. Now that coffin is actually hanging in Acme Design, kind of like Han Solo and Carbonite on the wall of Jabba's palace. It's just like that. It's just hanging up on their wall.
I'm glad you said that because I was about to ask, is it known where it is?
Yeah, it's hanging. They're very proud of it. And they'll sometimes bring it to Nightmare on Chicago Street. A couple years they brought it and had it there by him while he was signing. But yeah, they have it hanging on their wall.
So let me just walk through this hypothetical possibility. Greg and me, we're in the car. We head out to Elgin. We knock on the door and we say, "Hey, Dave sent us." Would they possibly say back
I'll say
to
thanks.
The door?
I'll say thanks. Dave's not getting any more passes to Nightmare on Chicago Street.
In that case, cancel the whole thing. We don't want to jeopardize that. But I was trying to.
I'll reach out to me and I'll reach out to them and see how things are going. We'll go from there.
It makes me wonder how many coffins exist, because there's the one at the museum.
Yeah.
There's 3. This one.
Yeah.
There's the current production one. There must be
two coffins and 3 lids is what you have. You have the original coffin, which Jerry G. Bishop had, and then was painted over by Rich Koz, who also painted the original one, incidentally. Right. So he didn't have a lot of money to work with, so he didn't know what at that point nobody knows, but he painted over the Jerry G. Bishop one, and that's the one that's in the Museum of Broadcast Communications. Then you have the prototype coffin lid, which is hanging on the wall, and then you have the new coffin. So that's 2 coffins and 3 lids.
That's amazing longevity for that.
Yeah, well, it was falling apart. I mean, he really didn't think it's amazing. It wasn't built to last that long. No, but he had no idea when he was building that coffin that it was gonna last more than a few years, let alone
Sure.
decades. So
Sure.
it was to the point where he couldn't really shut it. He was always holding the lid up, before he would shut it. Otherwise, it wouldn't shut because it was hanging. And so yeah, he definitely was in need of an upgrade. There's no question about that.
And yeah, on the technical side, once the holes around the screws around the hinges are as such that, I mean, you can try putty and whatever else, but
Right.
eventually there's too much give, there's too much play. It's just not going to be as it originally was.
Yeah. Well, anything for that long of any length of time being used on a regular basis is going to wear
Right.
down, and that was no exception. But yeah, that's the one that's now in the museum.
So this is part. Go ahead, G.
No, I was just going to say a typical coffin doesn't have the door opening and closing that often. So
Right, exactly. Well, Rich was always saying, "Oh, I'm so excited! I got this new coffin. Most people only get one. That kind of thing."
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, there's real coffins in the world
right.
that couldn't handle
Yeah.
the wear and tear. I had not thought of this question immediately for the show before, but this is one of those back burner questions. I've always, how did they do it? So, as you showed us last time, like a wall mount of a rubber chicken. Like, what did Sven put? But regarding the coffin itself, so originally Jerry G. Bishop would lay down horizontally on a plain wood box coffin. So we're saying that's the same physical piece that then later Rich painted to resemble Jerry G. Bishop, which then later Rich repainted to resemble himself.
As far as I know, yeah. I don't know about if there was another coffin with Jerry G. Bishop. My familiarity with him is limited, but I do know that his coffin, when he was done, got repainted. So
Right.
there was other ones I'm not sure. Yeah.
And I mean, we're clearly older now, but in the Jerry G. Bishop era, we were clearly young people.
Yeah.
All right. So then where I was headed before was, if we were, and we're not going to jeopardize Dave's good standing with anybody, or at least that's our goal, but would they say back to us through the door without opening it, Dave's not here.
All right, Dave ain't here, man.
And they would say, no, the Cheech and Chong bit, Dave's
right.
Okay. All right. Now.
So this is the Nightmare on Chicago Street event in 2012, and this is where he showed the coffin to the public. Rich, or Svengoolie, I should say, is always signs. He always signs at the event, and then at the end he would oversee the costume contest. And so this was like the last thing of the night. They rolled out the new coffin, and this is the picture. I think this one or the other one I gave you is the picture that the newspapers used. Because for some reason I was the only one that took pictures of this happening. So, but yeah, in Scary Monsters magazine, we made a cover with it, like an alternative cover. But yeah, it was pretty exciting. It was an exciting night.
Great. And then this is not at.
That's the real coffin at the real station. So this is now at the station. And this is, of course, when they didn't have their permanent set. So this coffin had to literally it had wheels. It's very easy to move around, but they did have to carry it up some stairs. I do remember that. But you can see the details that Ryan put into it, from the chicken handles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are he would go like on eBay and try to find like all kinds of obscure objects. That would fit in. And I forget where he found those hands, but he was really proud of that find. The little skull on top, I think you have a better picture of it I sent you. I don't know if it's here. But that little
jump to it should be pretty I'll get it in a second.
Well, that's okay. But everything like has some kind of like hidden meaning. So the skull on top is actually modeled after the skull. Yeah, that skull right there, with the exception of the obviously Tombstone-inspired mustache, was actually designed after the skull that was on the couch of the very first horror host, Vampira, Mela Nurmi. So that was a nod to her.
Wow.
Yeah.
See,
that's a pretty good piece. But it shows you all the details that he put into it. He really did. I mean, every little item on that coffin had some kind of meaning to it.
Without question.
Yeah.
All right. Let's, if we were here, then just resuming. come over here.
Right. So there you go. You see, obviously paying
Right.
a tribute to Berwyn.
And
And then
now
he's
this.
here he's showing how he manipulates the mouth to move during when Buddy Sorrell is doing his thing.
So right as I was observing last time, right, we got that interesting photography angle that this is not an angle that often shows up on the
Right,
show on TV.
right. And he's certainly never going to show the inside, the inner workings. I'm not sure what he's going to think about me showing it, but anyway, you know what they say. It's easier to get forgiveness than permission. No,
let's keep moving. I don't want you.
He doesn't mind. I showed it on my blog. He's fine.
Yeah.
It's already been shown.
Well, in that case, so is it a remote control? Is it levers? Is it
no?
Like
it's levers. Yeah, it's not remote control.
All right, great. Okay, now we go here. So in the 4 set crest, I wish I had my Monsterologist patches, because Monsterologist has that one 4 crest image of a sci-fi and a Bigfoot and Nessie and something else. So here we got the spider, the comedy mask, the camera, and the TV. Is that 3 horses over the S, or?
Looks like it. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
Or a jester hat? Maybe it's a horse.
Oh, there you go. Gee, I like that better. Jester.
Oh yeah, that's probably it. Yeah.
See,
my eyesight's not what it used to be. I have to look at the picture again. It's been a while.
And now what do we got? Tempest, Rebus, Horrificus.
Something time.
Have to get Google Translate.
No, I was going to say, I get my Latin going here.
Right.
But yeah, Acme was really cool. They even let me come when they were building the set. So I actually have a lot of pictures of the set in its early days being created, and they let me paint the set. So I got to be a part of the painting of his new set. It was really great. So they're really nice people. Really nice.
It's great. And if we just look at the overall paint job now, the mix of the colors, how just the flow is from one section to the next. Again, the comedy and tragedy faces into the bat. One bat has the frown, the other bat has the smile.
Oh yeah.
Is that film reel replicated being spooled down there?
Yes, that's film reel. Interestingly too, he even when I was visiting, they had like detailed pictures of like Rich's teeth, because they wanted the teeth of the coffin to like match his teeth. It was really more detail. Really a lot of detail went into that. And then of course you in the set, I don't know if you noticed the 2 gargoyles that are hanging in his new set. They were designed after Boris Karloff and Vincent Price. So if you really look at them, you can see the resemblance of those 2 actors.
Wow. And the previous 2 gargoyles kind of look like that, but these are more direct to.
These are, yeah, you could tell. You stopped me from sending pictures. You would have had all these pictures of the set. But yeah, it was cool. It was a nice experience.
And then again,
something you'll never see. Yeah, and you'll see like that. The reason they have the rope on it is to help them move it to the set back and forth. Really, it was just more made pride. I don't think Acme Design put those ropes on. I think they did. But now it sits permanently where it's at. So he's got a permanent set now.
It's still very clever design to put that many handles all about to make it easier to move.
Absolutely. And the set, I have to add also, there's wheels all over the set. So the set can be moved around really easy.
Good use of technology and good use of experience.
Yeah. And this is the poster that they would hang at Nightmare on Chicago Street when Svengoolie would be doing his signing. I think I mentioned last time he's supposed to be the mayor of the safe zone. So they do up his the building that he would sign at was done up like campaign headquarters, and then you had these posters hanging around. Somebody actually did make me an actual poster of this, which they weren't supposed to do, but they did.
That's cool.
Yeah,
you're getting the behind the scenes.
Yeah. There we are posing at the event, and there you can see again, like I had mentioned, the prototype coffins in the background. So they would bring that there so people could see it when they were getting something signed by him.
Man, I'd even again not that we're really going to Elgin, but just how did they choose the dog for their logo? That I always get curious about logo
Yeah, I
design.
don't
So
know. Yeah, probably was knowing Clint is probably his dog 20 years ago when he created Acme.
that would make sense.
Yeah, he's really cool because what's cool about Clint is he's obviously highly creative, but he's also you know, a nerdy kid at heart. Like his favorite movie is The Rocketeer. I don't know if you're familiar with that film.
Of course.
He loves The Rocketeer. He's just a big fan. He's a fanboy like a lot of us. So, and you can see that in him. And he's the one that helped create Nightmare on Chicago Street. Elgin had the idea. They wanted to do a big Halloween event. And the woman in charge went to him and he's like, what should we do? And he goes, well, tell me what you would do. If you could pick the ultimate experience. And she goes, oh, we wouldn't have the money to do what I want to do. He goes, well, you just tell me what you want to do and we'll decide if it's impossible. And they made it possible. And that's Clint.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But as I was picking up these 2 issues of Scary Monsters to read your stuff, the other vintage magazine I got was maybe Comics Journal. At the time, the Rocketeer movie was debuting. So yeah, Rocketeer is real good. That's a whole other thread of a whole other business, but it's great when these things get interwoven together. It's good stuff.
And there you see Elizabeth Haney again there on the left. And she was the one that was in the picture with me in the coffin lid at the zoo. And then on the other side is Alice Mooring. She's also now works for she was Elizabeth's best friend. Now she works for Acme as well. She's awesome.
Gee, I'm going to pitch you an unplanned and unrehearsed question here. This is a different fashion appearance for Sven than his typical outfits.
Well, yeah, he's the mayor. You can't be going in there casual. You got to be real formal if you're going to be the mayor of the safe zone.
That's awesome.
Gee, what do you think of the vest and shirt combo there?
I think it's very classy. It's a good look.
I
It's
don't
like
think he does it anymore. I liked it too. I don't think he does it anymore. I think he wears just his regular outfit now. But that particular year he wore that. And they don't usually dress like that either. This was just a one-time thing. I thought that was cool.
Right. And I'm thinking as a variant. So suppose somebody is on a Halloween or another event going to cosplay as Sven for a sweat-reducing variant instead of having on the heavy jacket to have the. And then also, it gave me a concept of if it's a black shirt and a red vest, if you're doing like a reverse Flash, like a reverse Sven, that could be a cool look unto itself also.
Well, he has a St. Patrick's Day outfit too. He wore it when he showed the Green Hornet marathon. I think it was about 10 years ago.
The Aaron of the Green.
Yeah, Aaron of the Green, exactly. And there was talk about him making an appearance at a comic book shop dressed like that around St. Patrick's Day. I don't think it happened though. I think it didn't happen. He ended up wearing his regular outfit, but yeah, he's got his variant. All kinds of great new action figures and Mego dolls we can come out with. Svengoolie line, his different outfits.
Yeah,
Mego like FTC that they. I mean,
yeah, there you go.
Keep on some of the other stuff as we featured between these 2 channels and Casual Crafter and J Spy 25. I mean. We know J Spy has the Moe and Larry and Curly that he's got the monster Migos making victims of. So
right,
absolutely, there's room for them to go deep on Sven. They could go original Jerry G. Bishop. They could go green scarf Sven, turtleneck Sven,
son of Sven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
A multiverse of Sven.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definite multiverse of madness. There it is. Yep.
All right.
So this was an awkward picture for me because I was covering the event for Scary Monsters magazine, and Elizabeth was like, "Well, go up there and go on stage with them, and just go ahead and get a picture of the crowd." But it was very awkward standing there on stage taking this picture. But the end results are pretty cool, so I was glad that I did it.
And this one, I assume, would be equally as awkward.
Yeah, I was just kind of up there, took a few pictures, and then